All right, y'all, welcome back to Philly D's Garage. So, I pulled the Regal in the other day, and I pulled it in, and I ended up just letting it sit there for like 2 days. I never drove it. So I come in here to drive it, I start it, I got a high idle. Like the car was just idling high. So the first thing I thought was, it was either a vacuum leak or something was wrong with the idle air control valve, which is right here. So I took the idle air control valve out. It's kind of gunked up. So I'm suspecting that it was that. So I put it back in, then I hooked my scanner up. I'm looking at the data, and I'm, bidirectionally controlling this idle air control valve just to see if it's functioning correctly, because at this time I'm thinking it was that. So everything was going fine. So I turned the car back off, started looking around, checking for vacuum leaks. I didn't see none, so I started the car back up. So it's idling high again. But this time I got a check engine light. So the code was for P0121, I believe. Yeah, P0121, which is your throttle position sensor, which is right here. So on this throttle body, old school GMs, you got 3 sensors. You got a mass airflow, you got an idle air control valve, and you got a throttle position sensor. So I'm like, that's kind of ironic, because I pulled the car in, the car been driving, perfectly fine all this time, and all of a sudden I'm getting a TPS throttle position sensor code. I keep getting the TPS mixed up with the tire pressure monitoring system. Anyway, so I hooked the scanner back up, and now I'm looking at the data for my sensor, because I'm like, why is that bad? I didn't understand why that went bad. So the sensor is wicky wacky. It's not, it's basically jumping in and out, from what I can see. The circuitry is good. All these wires is good. It's just a sensor issue. So what I want to do is I want to show y'all, before I change out this sensor, I want to show y'all how this idle air control valve looked, and how the inside of the throttle body looked. Because if your throttle body is dirty, or if your idle air control valve is dirty, they can pretty much give you the same symptoms. And real quick, I didn't mention this yet, but basically all this sensor here does is it reads the position of your throttle plate. So if your throttle plate is dirty, your throttle body is dirty, that could prevent the plate from moving properly. You know what I mean? So when you hit your gas pedal and you move your throttle, that plate should open up, freely. And if it doesn't, it will set a code for this. And it may not necessarily be the sensor. It could just be because your throttle body is dirty. So let me just show y'all that real quick. All right, y'all. So before I take that stuff off, I forgot. I want to show y'all how the idle is when you start this car. So basically what you're gonna hear is this sensor is, like I said, is going wicky wacky. So this sensor is reporting to the computer that the throttle is at a certain position, and it's throwing everything off because this thing is not reading right. So you're going to hear the idle basically rev up by itself. So let me show y'all real quick. Show y'all what it's doing. Alright, so the car is already warmed up, so y'all can see that the temp is already almost halfway full. And this idle is just gonna go up by itself without me pressing the gas. Y'all can kind of hear the idle going up already. Alright, y'all see it going up. I'm not pressing the gas. My foot is not on the gas right now. Y'all see that? So the RPM should be down here, like around 750, anywhere between 800. That's where the idle should be at, and it's way up here. That's 1500 RPM right now. I'm not pressing the gas. It's not a cold start. All right, so that can give someone, you may think that's an idle air control valve. It could be a throttle body issue. It could be a throttle position sensor. Could be a vacuum leak. So it could be a lot of different things that can cause this same issue. So that's basically why you might want a scanner or something like that, so you can diagnose a little better, or have a direction of which way you're going. So real quick, I'm gonna take off this idle air control valve. All right, y'all, so I took out the idle air control valve, and as y'all can see, it's a little gunked up. It is dirty. So based off the way that this looked, I went ahead and set up my little endoscope so I can look inside of the throttle body and see how dirty the throttle body is, just based off of how that looked. So all I did was took out the mass airflow sensor that was sitting here, and I forgot to mention, so they take T20 screws, so you could use one of these, something like this, to get it out. So I'm gonna show you how to get out this TPM throttle position sensor in a second. So yeah, what I did was I took out the mass airflow so I could look in there, and here y'all go. That's the throttle body right there, and y'all can actually see. Hold on. Like, just from the way it looks, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Let me see if I can put this up some. So that's the top of the throttle body plate right there. If you open it, like, so it is a little gunked up, but the car's not idling high because of that. But I'm gonna clean it out anyway. So let me show y'all next of how to get out this throttle position sensor. All right, y'all, so when you clean your throttle body, you can use something like this, throttle body cleaner or brake clean or something, and make sure you use mass airflow to clean your mass airflow sensor too, while you at it. So to get this throttle position sensor out, so here's the deal. So this bottom nut here, which is the same nut as this, you really can't get to it because this hose is in the way, or the throttle body housing is in the way. So if you don't want to have to take this off, and because if you take this off, then you're gonna have to bleed your cooling system because you're opening it up. So if you don't have another way to get it out, so you take a T20 like this and get you a 1/4 inch wrench, and then you can stick your T20 in there like that, and then put your wrench on it like that and screw it out. And then on the top one, obviously, is right there. So all you got to do is just screw that one out. So let's take it out real quick. So let's take that out real quick. So my replacement sensor is a GM sensor. There's the part number right there. So when it comes to something like this, to a sensor like this, I recommend going with like a GM, or at least something that's high quality, because this sensor is real sensitive. It's based off precision, so you really want this thing to be able to read right and work correctly. So don't cheap out on a sensor like this. Get a good one, a manufacturer one, preferably if you could. So let me swap this one out real quick. I already showed you how to get it out, and your connectors right here. Just pull the connector off. So you're gonna get the new one in there, and we're gonna start it up and make sure it don't idle high again. All right, y'all, so we got clean throttle body. We got a clean mass airflow. We got a clean idle air control valve, and we got a brand new throttle position sensor. Now just keep in mind that, like I said, this is an older car, so these other sensors can have the same effect and may cause the same code. So that's why you might want to do this other maintenance stuff while you're at it, so it can prevent something like that. So now newer cars, they don't have all these sensors. Usually their sensors are built in to the throttle body itself. So on units like that, all you really got to do is make sure the throttle body stay cleaned and relearned. Every time you clean it, you want to relearn it, so your throttle body will work properly. But on older cars like this, you have different sensors that you also want to just keep in mind of. Now, if you was wondering how to test these sensors, I pretty much use my scanner to figure this out. But these sensors are just 3-wire sensors, so you should be looking for a 5 volt reference, a ground, and you'll have a signal wire. So that's all you'll be looking for to test this sensor, and you can use a voltmeter to do that. So now we got everything cleaned up and the new sensor swapped in. Let's go ahead and start it, see what it sounds like. All right, y'all, so we in the car. We're gonna start it up real quick, see what it sounds like. That was a hard start, probably because I cleaned it out. All right, so as y'all can see, we idling. We still pretty close to being fully warmed up. So as y'all can see, I'm idling under 1,000 right now. So the idle might be a little high because I was spraying throttle body cleaner or whatever in the throttle body. So it might be a little high right now, but it's already lower than where it was at. So I'm gonna say that's a fix. And as we sit here, it's gonna idle down. You already can see it going lower and lower. All right, so let's go out. Yeah, it sounds good. All right, y'all, so if y'all enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.